Yeah. Well,
What's the word, man?
what's the word? What's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. What's the deal?
Oh, nothing, man. Just trying to get this stuff cranked out. You know, I was working on my will and my deed poll and my Declaration of Independence. Yeah, so I was putting them together, trying to get this stuff together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can you know.
You need that trust certificate between the two.
I thought the deed poll was a trust certificate.
It is. Well, it's the trust certificate in between that is derived from the declaration and the will.
Right. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, so, oh man, where the hell is that shit at, man? I had a fucking 12 terabyte hard drive fail on me, man. So I was trying to scramble and get that stuff. That was what was wrong with my damn PC. And I was trying to save that stuff. Damn, I had this shit. Where the hell it go? Alright, hold on. Where the hell is Will at? So, alright, that's the deed poll. I think this is it. Okay, so basically, this is the one. I didn't put everything in there. So I had started two different things, right? So basically, I had this one. So I came back and I said, I convey all property, right, both real and personal, included but not limited to, right, the Chukma Nation Trust, Logan County Trust, Duffy Ministry Trust, Jeffrey Allen Hill Trust, Jeffrey Allen Hill Estate, Duffy Allen Property and Trust Management, houses, cars, business interests, and all other assets and possessions. Right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah. That's what's on that. What document that's on?
That's on the Will and Testament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, under the section of estate property. I had bequeath, but then I was like, nah, I convey. Right? Versus I bequeath. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't dead.
The estate is dead.
The estate's dead, but I'm not dead.
Right.
Right?
But the will is coming from the estate only. It's not coming from you.
Oh.
That's the whole point of having a trust certificate created, drawn up from between the estate's will and your Declaration of Independence. So you're declaring your independence as from the people. Speaking from a constitutional standpoint, you're the people. And on Article 4 of the United States Constitution, the people have a right to be secure in their persons. Well, the persons is the estate. So now the estate is dead. And the last will and testament of the estate is what you have to go through. Right. So between your Declaration of Independence and a will of the estate bequeaths to you the authority to operate as the executive of the estate. And that comes with everything that's under the estate, meaning everything that you created with the social automatically goes over to the executive, the office of the executive. That's it. You don't have to put, all those different things. Well, you can, because it's in that will, and that's for your heirs to read and understand what's been transferred over. Right. But no one's ever going to see that will. No one's ever going to see that Declaration of Independence. All they're going to see is the trust certificate that was created between the two by you agreeing to be the executor and the estate appointing you the executor is all the trust certificate is going to say.
So
that's why he used the deed poll as the example for the format. Your old name, your new name,
right.
and what your obligation to that new name is, or what your obligation to the old name is.
Right.
The old name is the estate.
Right.
All you're doing is ultimately showing the separation in the Declaration of Independence. You're declaring that you're one of the people, right?
Right. Now,
and the state has a will, and the state is going to be reported as dead. So now, only thing that can be used to procure the estate is its will, because as soon as we were born, our whole situation was in probate anyway, without a will. Now there's a will in place, and that trust certificate identifies the existence of that will and the existence of your Declaration of Independence, which identifies you as one of the people. So one of the people is securing his person.
Right. So what the hell I do with this? Oh man, oh man. I had that joint. No, I can't find it. Cause this. Wait, is that it? I think that's it. So basically, that's not it.
To bequeath something is to leave to a person or other beneficiary by a will, a personal estate, or one's body.
Right.
That's why bequeath is in there.
Right.
And it's not.
So I had to change that back.
Versus the estate. Yeah, you don't exist in the estate's will up until the estate is bequeathing you the occupancy of the office of the executor.
Now, and this goes back. All right, so this goes back, right? This goes back to what I be teaching people about the trademark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not how I see myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they see me.
Right.
They see me as dead.
Exactly.
So I got to switch that from that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
you're not in the estate.
Right.
You're not in the will, except for by appointment from the estate. That's the only role you're playing in the will. The appointment was made to you.
Right.
Then you could create a certificate of appointment if necessary. You know what I mean? You can do all those things, but it's up to you.
Right.
But you have to have those two documents in place so that you can have a trust certificate drawn from those two documents.
Right. Yeah.
And on the back of that trust instrument, you're going to have your blanket bond information.
Right.
You would derive that from Form D of the Security Exchange Commission.
Right.
Now, right. Form D, I'm going to tell you what Form D is. Form D is the notice of exempt offerings of security. See that?
Say that again.
Form D for the Security Exchange Commission is the notice of exempt offerings of securities.
Okay.
The securities are exempt from, all the other protocols, the registration and all that. So that's why your blanket bond is going to be on the back of the certificate of trust, which identifies the existence of the trust and the Declaration of Independence. It shows the separation between the two parties, and also has a blanket bond on the back of it, because the estate becomes the surety for all of the state's affairs.
Right.
And you as the executor administrate that. So you as the executor, whoever the named executor is in the will, has the sole authority to administrate that estate. Now, the estate becomes a surety, right, for all debts, public and private, but solely based off the estate's debts, nobody else's. And you have to be there to administrate that.
Right.
And all you doing from there is giving notice and everything.
Right, and that was one of the things that I put. All property rights, title, interests, and devices created by the estate, the existence of my estate, in the name of the estate, or administered on behalf of the estate, must first be properly identified and brought under the administration.
Right, but you wrote all that, so your kids know when you actually are gone.
Right.
How to administrate the estate. That's for them. That ain't for nobody else.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody is ever going to see that will.
Right.
Nobody's ever going to see that Declaration of Independence.
Right.
But the certificate shows that those two documents are pertinent and the authority is shown and they exist.
Right.
And the blanket bonds on the back of that, now everybody has noticed.
Right.
Once you send it off to get apostilled and you attach all 153 countries on it, they're going to take box off. You abolish. And you have your own, state. You have your own government.
Right.
Ultimately, that's the basis of it.
Right.
But once operating that government, you're gonna have some issues that you're gonna have to figure out. Like right now, for instance, Mateo left his house, right?
Right.
He had to leave.
Right.
Left the kids, left her, the wife and all that, but he had to go. He got to find solitude because this is his Moses time. This is for him to find that burning bush and sit down and have a conversation with the Most High.
Right.
So he didn't go get a hotel and all that. He stayed at his brother's house, his people's house, and every now and again he sleeps in his car.
Right.
And he can go out and secure whatever he needs. But he doesn't really need it. So what he's come up with is a way to circumvent if any one of those departments don't adhere to his 911 EMS. So instead of having to go through each vendor and show each vendor your cousin dispatch declaration, he's setting up an account with the IRS so that it'll streamline whatever vendor he go to. You know what I'm saying? His stuff is shown, his stuff is in there, but the Department of Revenue and his state, the commissioners, or his assignees aren't adhering to the emergency 911 currently. So he came up with a circumvent. Yeah, came up with a way to say. Now he can go to an individual vendor. He can go to a hotel and give him his paperwork, but some of them don't know what's going on, and then the commissioner's office is not adhering to the 911 EMS. They act like they never received his blanket bond that he mailed off. Well, he has the certified mail certificate and all that. So now, who runs the commissioners? The Secretary of State. So now, you got to send some correspondence to the Secretary of State to let him know that one of his commissioners is out of pocket. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these are the things that will come up and that you're going to have to be able to articulate and express.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So couldn't he go to Kemp? Because wouldn't Kemp be the
I don't know who Kemp is.
Kemp, he's the governor. He's the commander in chief. He's the
the military.
Yeah.
But the secretary holds the seals, and the secretary was delegated the authority through the governor to oversee all the commissioners. So initially, you would have to contact the secretary first, and if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, that's when you go
to the governor.
Exactly. You don't need to go to the government yet. You're your own government.
Right.
So you're expressing your secretary is sending correspondence to the secretary to make sure the commissioner is doing his job.
Right.
If he doesn't adhere to it, now the executive or the ambassador is going to reach out to the government. See that?
Yeah. Yeah. Because also the fact of like you said, the Secretary of State does hold the seals.
He holds the seal.
Yeah.
And there's a consular of affairs that holds the apostle seal, but it's in the same house for Georgia. It might be different here, but that's the same house for Georgia. But we know that the secretary oversees all the commissioners. So we go right over. we'll go right over to when the commissioner's office is not operating properly. You go to the secretary. So
Right, but the all right. So the way it's set up in Georgia is Secretary of State does the authentication. The Georgia clerk, well, he only holds. Well, he holds the main seal for authentication.
Yeah, the great seal, Sewage joint.
Right, but there's
that's the one you need.
There's two.
Yeah, the apostle seal.
The apostle seal, right? But that goes through the clerk. But the clerk's authority is up under the Secretary of State.
That's why I said
you
it.
You just said, okay, yeah. I'm sleeping.
You know what I mean? He just broke that same shit down to me.
Right, yeah.
He knows it's called a counselor of something, which holds the apostle seal.
Right, it's the Georgia's clerk, superior court authority.
Yeah, well, he named the person's title. It's a counselor or something, but it's in the superior court. You're right about that. He broke all that shit down earlier, but he was just breaking down the four horsemen. You know what I mean? The Attorney General, the Governor, Secretary of State, and the Commissioner.
Okay.
Yeah. So commissioners, you got a commissioner of banking, you got a commissioner of this, you got a commissioner of that. So you can combine that with the Secretary of State. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta be able to communicate through the four horsemen to get what you need done. That's all.
Right.
But he came up with a more streamlined way to involve internal revenue from the door.
Right.
So now the same system that they use for CSP, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean CPAs. You know, CPAs, if they do your taxes, you know, everything goes through faster because they have a back door. They got a portal.
Right. Go to the fire system.
Exactly. So you're using the mail, you're using someone else or whatever, but if the CPA does it, it gets straight to them.
Right.
So now he's setting up an account with them, and if you don't have a Social Security number, you can't set up an account with the IRS because you have to go through ID.me. Well, they don't have an ID.me for foreign diplomats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he got to communicate direct with the head.
But see, that's why I said to him that I could go through on my other one. I already got a 9-8 under my spiritual name, right, which doesn't have a Social Security number. You know what I'm saying?
To set up an account with the IRS, you either have that back door.
You need a social.
No. You need to go through ID.me if you have a social. But if you don't have a social and you're not operating as that kind of entity, you have to send correspondence. They want you to register with this and all that, but you're excluded from all that stuff. But you need to know and understand that you are. So when you send your correspondence, he sent his correspondence, he's waiting for them to respond back to him now. They're gonna open the account. That's all it is. You open an account with the IRS. They already have the blanket box.
Right.
He sent it to them too. They have it.
Right. Okay.
So it's nothing for them to see. They have to set up his back door. So now, when he goes through the process, he can upload everything directly to the IRS for whatever transaction. The IRS is going to ping the Division of Taxation and Revenue in that state, and boom, they're going to ping the vendor of whatever services he wants rendered, and it'll be done faster that way.
Right.
So you can just find out who the CSP is, blah blah blah, have a communication with them. Okay, I want this, that, and third, but I'm gonna use the backdoor method. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You go, you upload everything you need, but you got the application from them and all that. You put your paperwork on top of it, and you zap that directly to the IRS, just like your coupon. You know what I mean? The blanket bond doesn't have a dollar amount on it, but each coupon has to have a dollar amount on it. So you're just going to be reprinting these coupons and putting, let's say this car was $100,000, you put $100,000 for that. This house is this, or it's clothes of that, or whatever the case may be. And you put the dollar amount on the coupon, you upload the coupon directly to IRS, boom, they could draw it from the blanket bond, send it down to Department of Revenue take care of the vendors.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, all he's really doing is utilizing the streamlined sales tax agreement. You know what I mean? But he's doing everything electronically. It's not going to be You're not going to have to do a lot manually anymore, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the process he's in now. And he's developed that process based off having to keep reiterate the whole thing to his whole experience to us. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he just read the Convention on Diplomatic Relations, the Vienna Convention. He just read it today again.
Right.
And that drove more clarity out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be a constant reading of the same documents to have a better understanding as you raise consciousness. The higher the consciousness, the better the understanding, the deeper, the stronger the understanding, and the ability to express when necessary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be necessary at some point.
Yeah, and
it's not an example. It's not an example to show any kind of hindrance. It's the kind of example to show the dedication and requirement of the surrender that needs to be had before, beginning to even process this stuff. You know what I mean? To really put yourself in that position. His identity and his status is still there. To still be able to see, but even at that level, the commissioners, minions, or whoever was involved in that situation didn't receive or don't know they don't know the protocol for the 911 EMS.
Right.
And that's under the UPU. Everybody's obligated. That's under the UPU to adhere to their emergency call. Right. Since you're not adhering to it, you must not know the protocol. Well, the protocol is going to be presented to you when I contact the Secretary of State. But, I'm just saying all together, that's just an example of how continuing this process is going to be the most interesting part. You, for instance, you're going to be all in the business because you're used to dealing with these people. You talk to these people and all that. So it ain't going to be a thing for you, but you're going to need to know who you need to express, what you need to express to, or whatever you're trying to do.
Right. And that's key because one of the things that we've been drilling is with this trademark. Like you got to know who you talking to, why you're talking to them, and what to say to them. Like, because granted, though we've been having successes with trademark, right? There were some situations that I messed up, and as soon as I sent the stuff off, they came back and said to me, bullshit. And when I looked at it and I went back and looked at what I said, I saw the error. And as soon as I saw the error, I went back and I corrected myself. And then they did what they were supposed to do. But you got to, like you said, this has to become second nature. It has to be innately ingrained. Like one of the things that I've been drilling, right? Talking about being a convention, right? Okay, so I got tags. I got my driver's licenses, right, which we created, right? I did my custom dispatch, right, on a card, but I realized that I still got to have a paper copy because I'm gonna have to mail a paper copy in to the people who I'm sending the shit off to, right?
Yeah, you haven't given a word notice of that existence yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Part of,
I got to give notice
to that. Yeah.
All right. So
claim.
So basically, I've been drilling. So one of the things that I'm drilling is like I found the whatchamacallit. It's 17.11, right? For diplomats, the protocol for Georgia State Patrol. Okay. Right. And more importantly, Article 29 of the Vienna Convention states expressly that you cannot arrest or detain a diplomat or his family that's on a foreign mission, right? Article 30, you cannot seize or levy the property of any ambassador or diplomat with immunity, right? So those two right there are the two that I've been drilling so that, and then plus, once I get this down, when I give them what I need to give them, I'm going to tell them, listen, here's the thing. You need to go find the protocol and the procedure and the policy for what you're attempting to do, because I'm informing you of my diplomatic status. Okay.
Once you on record, bro, that's it. You gotta come like that no more. You just gotta let the world know. Right. Once you let the world know, they trust me. He said they salute you ASAP. Right. You know what I mean? But when he had run-ins with this from, his, just a little stupid situation, like they was girl and called the cops. They came in the house. Once they gave up that name, or his cousin came or something, was arguing with his girl, something like that. Police was called, whatever the case may be. He came outside, gave them his information. This such and such from the Ramos estate. I was like, oh man, you just gotta leave, man.
Right.
So his information is in the system. Once it's in the system, you ain't gotta worry about none of that. Right. And you can still have tags if you wanted to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. But that's you going through the whole process of going there, giving the customer that's ready to dispatch that. So you exempt from paying for the tag, and they got to send it. I would go straight to the commissioner of motor vehicle, send him my documents, who pop in, send me a plate. You know what I mean? You can do it like that because you're able to use their services, even though you accept. But he chose to use his own plate.
Right.
You know
I'm choosing to use my own as well because I got the title to my. I told you I got a new car, right?
The only law that needs to be used on that plate is if you had conventional diplomatic relations. That's why it says 1961 Vienna Convention diplomatic relations. That's it. And you got like a number or something up there.
1961. 1961.
Right, 1961. So when the police see that, he's already declaring, as he's in motion, he's declaring what law he's riding under.
Right.
Now, if you want to, if you choose to pull the car over for an inquiry, you're going to get to see the rest of it. But once they check you in the system, it's in the system that they see. Right. In Georgia, it's called SIRS. Dispatch is going to contact SIRS. And under Georgia code, it says they need to make a point of contact to verify your status. Right. You're claiming a diplomat or not, diplomatic immunity.
Right. That's 1711.
Well, but it's gonna come up in the system as you correct your status is of what you're claiming.
Right.
Once that's in the system, that's because you gave the world notice. Right. They recognize that all day long. It was just to when he tried to pull that 911 EMS out of there, they're not used to seeing that.
Right.
Because they're not government entities. See that?
Right.
They're acting in it's full where? They're acting in a capacity which they don't understand.
Right.
That's why he ran into trouble at that particular commissioner's office. But you know how to circumvent that.
Right.
But the information is still in the system.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the only ones who pull out the 911 EMSs are who? Governments.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're going to this dealership or whatever, you're going to the store and you're trying to speak to these people about this custom dispatch declaration notice and not your 911 EMS, and they looking like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Right. Yeah.
Because everything's been so compartmentalized. So now you have to reach the top of the CFO. If it was me, I would go find out who the CFO is of this dealership, because under the Chief Financial Officer Act of 1940, it gives me all of the obligations of a chief financial officer, and they're to know about these EMSs,
right,
which is a governmental action.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now these little peons in the commissioner's office not used to dealing with other governments. They they think that Georgia's the superior one. They think Georgia's it all. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sure they corresponded with other states for whatever reason, and they know that, they can verify those other states. Well, they can verify him, but they didn't adhere to what he's sent in.
Right.
But everywhere else has it. Secretary of State already has it.
Right.
The governor already has it, because the governor is the one who distributes it globally for you because
Right.
he uses a smart system.
Right.
So that's why all you're doing is sending it to the governor and the secretary of state when you're getting the apostille done, so they can put full faith and credit on what your status is. That's
Right.
why you got the gold seal that goes on top of your seal. I mean, you got the great seal that goes on top of your seal.
Right.
And, that same cover you make dozens of copies of, and you put them on all your documents before you send them out, because now that's showing everybody in that state that you're doing business with that your authority, you got full faith and credit from the governor through the Secretary of State, and everybody's under one of the two, the governor or the Secretary of State.
Right.
Okay? But they definitely gonna acknowledge it though. But you don't wanna jump over the secretary. If the commissioner's not doing his job, then you go to the secretary. Now if the secretary doesn't adhere to this emergency, guess what? The governor has to. The commander in chief, the CFO
Yeah.
of the state of Georgia is the governor, the CFO,
Yeah.
chief financial officer. That's the general of the militia and everything. He can everybody do whatever they need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to follow that protocol because he acceded to the United Nations as one of the governing countries.
Right. And he has to. It's a coming imperative.
Yeah. That's it. That's all. So now he's developing a streamlined way for them to have all the information necessary to procure goods and services. Now, procuring goods and services is the emergency.
Right.
That's your emergency.
Right.
Because under the Economic Act, right, under economics period, what do you need to survive? Food, clothing, and shelter.
Yeah.
And a means of transportation. There ain't nothing but cars, clothes, food.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what your blanket bond is going to discuss too.
Right.
For the purposes of economics. If you go to Security Exchange Commission Form D, you want to pull that up for me real quick?
All right, hold on one second. All right, so what was it again?
Security Exchange Commission Form D. Just put Form D.
Yeah, I already got it up.
So it comes from Security Exchange Commission, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This is where he drew his blanket bond from.
The issue
Now the one he showed me had the actual paragraph in it, but this one is an 18-page document where it has the instructions and all that, but I didn't read it all the way through yet. But this is what he used.
Yeah, it's 18 pages, yeah.
Yeah. But this is what he used. You know what this is notice of? Notice of exempt offering of securities.
Okay.
You're exempt, right?
Yep, exactly.
So this is where he drew blanket bond from. Using all the information that they asked for. Issuer's identity. Principal place of business.
Right.
You know what I mean? What industry group? All of them.
Right.
What issue size? That's when you go to issue size, item number 5, that's when the coupons come in at. Because now you got to place a dollar amount on each coupon, but you make your bond blanket. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. The blanket covers all.
Exactly. So now federal exemptions and exclusions claimed, right? Which federal exemptions and exclusions you claiming? All of them.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Type of filing. This is new. This is amended. Duration of offering, types of securities offered, right? Mm-hmm. You would put other right there, right? Okay. Economic recovery.
Okay.
You instead of equity, instead of debt,
instead
of options, economic recovery.
Yeah.
Business combination transaction, minimum investment, sales, compensation. Which state you want to solicit? All of them.
Right.
Foreign, non-U.S., and all states. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not using all of this form, but you're using what they have. You're answering what they're asking for.
Right.
You're giving them what they ask for. Right. And you send it in with your shit on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see how I was able to look at this form and relate it to what we need it for?
Yeah, exactly.
that's what we have to learn how to do with all these.
All of them. Yeah, exactly.
That nigga got a 1099-C. I said, damn.
Yeah.
With Mateo F. Ramos at the top of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
From the Division of Internal Revenue of the Mateo Ramos estate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This document had come from the Security Exchange Department of the, Jeffrey Hill estate or whatever.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But before we get to all the securities and all that kind of stuff, we gotta understand how to give notice to them, how to express what we need to express, because in doing that first and getting the recognition, that's gonna fire you up to continue. Because even today, since October, he's been speaking to Haru and all that. I don't know how often he was teaching or communicating with people about this process, but I know from October to now, he was living in a crib with his wife and the 6 kids. Now he's, bouncing around from cousin house to friend house, sleeping in the trunk of his car, and you're an ambassador. You could be anywhere. You can go to Waldorf Astoria if you wanted to, but you're choosing not to. And he said that the Most High sent him out of the house for the reasons, he had a situation, the girl called cops, all types of shit, but they can't do nothing to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
He went downtown and put his paperwork in the motherfucker, what's his name? They made him upload it, and then he got the email with everything he uploaded. Basically, he was talking to himself, Governor.
Right.
You can't do nothing with me. Okay, boom, that's done. But now I need solidarity. I need solitude because I have to think of what's the next step, because somebody in the Department of Revenue isn't adhering to the 911 EMS that I sent out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Now you got to adjust. Now, it's time for him to get land, his own house, and whatever else he requires. But he doesn't require a lot because he's always surrendering. So it makes him humble.
Right.
And I don't mean humble in the sense of poor. I mean humble in the sense of attitude. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to fight nobody. He's in compliance. He's staying in compliance. But now you have to show that you're in compliance and they're not. So it's still, whether you do it this altered way, whether you do it right or righteously, you're still going to have to show these people who you are and what you need done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my objective lately has just been to focus and hone in on how to construct these documents to express what I need expressed.
Right. And that's what I was doing today, just going through and putting bits and pieces, right, from what I got. And then now after talking with you kind of clued me back into something that I already really knew, but I didn't put it in this perspective. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not like, one of the things that we got to stop doing is thinking how we want them to see us. It's not how we want them to see us. It's how they see us. It's how they see us. And in that, then we flip the script so that now you're looking at me this way, but it's really I'm this. You know what I'm saying? And how do I transition? Like, we've been doing a series called Transformers, right? How do I transform into what the Most High has made me to be? Because they had transformed me into a dead entity, or they have created a dead entity and are attempting to transform me into that dead entity.
It already has.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have to step out of it.
Yep, exactly. And that's the key, how we get out of it. So, but it's good. It's good.
How we get out of it, I can tell you that, is expressing the Most High.
Right. Yep.
That's all it is, bro. It ain't even deeper than that.
Right.
It's just it feels like it gets deeper because you have to read these different languages, and that's the part that everybody can't grab onto, because now you're just trying to read French, and then you're just trying to read Mandarin. And when I say French, I mean the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. When I say Mandarin, I'm talking about the New Jersey Code on transportation or whatever.
Right.
Those are different languages you got to read. You and I have read these, been reading these languages, so we know how to interpret them now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But we also, what we need to do is have a government state of mind so that we can procure and develop and express the Most High's will, right, through this vessel, using the estate as the protector, because that's what He gave it to us for, to walk in and do commerce with these people.
Right.
You know, to get our services and things rendered to us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
To us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's all this is about. I'm working on getting identified, but you know, I've come across some issues. You know what I mean? I got a couple issues.
Yeah, I can't hear you, bro.
Before I was introduced to Mateo stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still studying, I still be reading all that, but I wasn't really doing nothing. So I said that I'm going to get the CDL license back so I could drive. You know what I mean? That way I can create an income, and whatever my research leads me to, then I'll, you know, move forward from there. Now, I spoke to Mateo a couple of days ago, right? And we was talking about the notice of withdrawal and what that needs to be and what are we expressing. And I wrote one out and I sent it to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to send it to you too.
Okay.
The whole setup, everything that I did, right? It's so, this shit is crazy because it's so fucking simple.
But you know,
And
I didn't mean to cut you off, brother, but you know, it's funny because I was looking at that. I was looking at it in the starting point, right? Where it was talking about, let me see if I still got the joint up. This is the trade thing. Oh man, I
that's not for you.
But it was talking about alter or withdraw. No, yeah, alter or withdraw.
Withdraw, yeah.
And I was like, damn, okay, right there. And then I found the Omnibus Act, Terrorism Act, and the other one. So I was reading that.
Trade facilitation, trade enforcement.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, because I seen trademark in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, bet. But I was still trying to comprehend how does this roll from the standpoint of border protection, right, to what we're attempting to do.
How does it what? Say that? Border protection?
What? Yeah, the border patrol. How does that equate to what we are attempting to do?
Well, that's going to come from the notice of accession.
Okay, and okay, so that would be something I have to look at there. Okay.
Yeah. I just sent you. This is the final product right here. But I'm going to text you the original one, and I want to see if you see what the difference is.
All right, you sending both of them by text.
Yep.
Okay.
But read the black and white one first. That was the first draft.
My phone, man. This case, it got the clip goes right over where the damn freaking button is.
Mm-hmm. Now I trust you not to share this information because all of my information is in there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that, bro.
Okay.
All right. I see you got your stickers on there. All right.
Yeah.
So,
oh no, those ain't stickers. I printed them up.
They on the envelope.
Yeah. So let's look at the envelope real quick. Let's do the envelope, right?
Okay.
This is how your envelope should be set up.
Okay.
And I set it up this way to be more efficient. He wrote Express Mail EMS on his.
Right.
I went and got the EMS logo from the website.
Right. Okay.
I typed in Express Mail, and then that's the new UPU logo that Naomi just created for him. So all it says is Universal Postal Union Article 1. That covers everything.
Okay.
Right? Then when you look to the left, you got my logo or my seal, right? John Kelly LeRoy State, Kelly Providence. But the issue is the United States Minor Outlining Islands. We might not be able to use that with the IRS, so I'm going to use Minor Outlining Islands, right? These are all typos. I just was printing it because I was excited, but when I showed this to him, he clarified something for me. So, that's the address I want to use for my estate when I declare it dead, but he might not let me use United States Minor Outlining Islands. So what I'm going to put is Minor Outlining. I'm going to put Kelly Province. Minor Outlining Islands, New Jersey, 070509999. If that don't work, then I'm going to put American Territories. New Jersey, 070509998. So I'm going to take this off of these envelopes for now because I'm going to use the care of address. Okay, so that's going to have my care. Only thing I'm replacing on these envelopes is the care of address because currently I don't have an official, general post address like that. I haven't done anything to set that up.
I'm going to tell you they're not going to accept that, and I'm going to tell you
why. IRS?
No, not the IRS, post office, because when I did mine, I was doing this before with Tax Per Q, and I had the postal inspectors and the clerk from the post office around the corner to tell me, like, yo, that's only for foreign countries, you're using a local address, blah, 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 and so forth and so on.
That's why, now look at the envelope, John Kelly LeRoy State, Kelly Province.
Right.
That's a whole nother country.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Right. But what I'm saying is, all right, so what you're saying is, so you're going to have the John Kelly LeRoy Estate, Kelly Province, then the in-care address.
No. I'm going to have John Kelly LeRoy Estate and then the in-care of address for now. That's it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. If you put it that way, and it all depends, and I'm just going to say this, it all depends. Sometimes they would go through, sometimes they wouldn't. Especially if you're going to government agencies, like they really look at that stuff. Like depending on who you're sending it to. Like I sent off the trust documents to the county, and they sent it back talking about I need postage, and so basically, and that was because I was using a local address, and they said you can't do that. But I mean, you can try it, and nothing beats a failure but a try. But at this point in time, we want to make sure that stuff be going through properly.
I've seen envelopes sent from Naomi in Texas to him in Georgia, and she didn't even put a state on her name. She put Genoa Renee Mallory, care of, blah, 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 sent it just like that. And she sent the old seal, the Tax Per Q, postage page, Constitution Article 1, Prov Art 4, RL 114. Yeah,
right. I'm not
using. Now on this one, we're not using none of that. It's just Article 1 right here. That's it.
Right. But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying it won't go through. I had some that went through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but depending on who you send it to, when I sent it to the state, I mean not the state, when I sent it to the county, the person at the post office sent it back. They got the postal inspectors involved, and the clerk called me, and this, that, and the other, and they was like, no, this ain't legit. You gotta, it's gotta come from a foreign country, so forth and so on. Blah, 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 blah. And once again, key point is you got.
What was the address that you was using?
I used a regular address, my regular address.
Are you saying they said since you got the UPU seal, it got to come from another country?
No, I had Tax Per Q.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's in French.
Right.
That's why. Right. The UPU is in French.
Right, but the point being was that they said that I had to do it in it had to have a foreign address on it for it to go through for free.
Wait, the foreign address, the from address or the to address?
The from address. So if you're putting, all right, so if you're going to leave that like it is on the outside, you should be fine. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going in on the, if you're going on that on the outside with the return address, then that might be problematic. But once again, it depends on who you're sending it to.
Yeah, this is only going to the Secretary of State, first of all,
right?
Because this is what I got now so far. So the first item going to the Secretary of State is the notice of withdrawal, but I'm going to change it to a care of address, and the fact that it has care of in it, it lets them know that it's coming from somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, I mean, either way, we're going to figure it out. I'm all for it. I'm all with it. But I had situations before where I did tax the queue and blah, blah, blah. Some of it went out, some of it didn't. But in this way, I'm using certified mail and I'm going to the box. I'm not going to.
So you got.
All right.
So you got express mail on there, but you're sending it, and I know you explained that about the this using certified and UPU. All right.
No, I'm using a certified. The green slip is going to go on this envelope too.
Right. Okay. All right. So listen, what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So I used to work for the post office. Okay. Now, there were times where people would send mail, and they would have street address, and then they would have a box, and and because I was new, I was like, this is going to a street. My supervisor said, send it back. So you might get somebody who don't know. You know what I mean? They say it's express mail, but it got a
certified mail sticker on it.
Yeah, certified mail sticker. Yeah.
But you can send certified mail express.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
And that EMS logo comes from the UPU.
Right, I understand that.
The authority that I'm displaying is a universal authority. Now, again, if the peons don't understand and they send it back, I'm gonna just put it in another envelope and send it again.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna adhere to they're gonna be in compliance,
right.
Because I know I'm saying it is. You know what I mean? It's gonna get to who it needs to get to. I'm not tripping about none of that. That ain't about nothing.
Right.
If they send it, I had stuff sent back before, and I sent it again. I went to another box, put it in that box. That shit went right through. 2 days, 3 days, that shit was there. But I never used Express Mail EMS.
Right.
That's an alert right there. It comes directly out of the postal manual or the UPU postal manual, parcel manual. And that means right there you would treat this document, right, with all the authority from the UPU. It needs to get to wherever it needs to get to as fast as possible. It has priority. It goes in its own box. And if the peon doesn't understand that, then that's fine.
Right. But
ultimately,
let's go back to what you were telling me about Mateo. What he's going through here in Georgia. Right? So he sent out his custom dispatch. He sent out all his notifications, his blanket bond. He sent out everything he needed to do, 911 dispatch, all of that, right? But yet, they still did not adhere to the protocol. You see where I'm going with that?
Only one department. Everybody else, let's be clear. He did K&Gs, they complied.
Right.
He did Publix, they complied. He did a health company in South Carolina, they complied. He did AutoZone, they complied. You know what I'm saying? The place he bought his RV from, they complied for 24 bands. They got paid and everything. They was in compliance.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just I don't understand how that it all went through this time, but now the commissioner of the Department of Revenue was acting like they didn't receive his blanket bond or whatever. But they can act like they want to act. None of that matters.
Right.
Because he's going to continue to show the face of God.
Right.
There's no way around this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not for us to look at it as a hindrance. It's us to look at it as an experience. We gotta walk through a little bit of fire. Cool, I walk through the fire because I know God got me. You know what I'm saying? That's the end goal right there.
Right. Exactly.
So looking at what the peons or what this one might do, when I don't go in looking like that. I go in with my intention. You know what I mean? Following the will of the Most High is to express this information and it to get to the right person. Right. Even if they act like they don't get it, he still got the certified mail numbers that he sent the same documents to the Secretary of State. Right? The governor did it. He sent it to the governor, and the governor acknowledged it. He got the great seal on the top of it. Right. So now I got the seal for the credit of the whole state. You, as a commissioner of one particular department, acting like you didn't receive this, but the governor got it, the Secretary of State got it. Oh, you fuck around and lose your job, my man.
Social Security. Yeah,
think about what I'm saying. A government is reaching out to the state, right? For an emergency situation, and this nigga's acting like he's not in compliance or whatever he's acting like. He's acting like Mateo's not in compliance when the fact is I got a certified mail number that says you got it, the governor got it, and then if the case is right that you didn't get it, the governor still has it and acknowledged it.
But
I have the great seal of the state on top of my document. So for you to act like you don't recognize something your superiors recognize, you're going to get in trouble.
Right. Yeah. And then plus.
So now, this is what I was going to say. My bad. This is what I was going to say about the post office. Once I do get the EIN number with the definitive address and location, I'm going to go sit down with the postman. I'm going to send the postman. I might sit down with, I don't know. I'm going to send the postmaster a cover letter. An executive letter letting him know that I'm occupying this office in this Providence, and this is the zip code and the last four that I'll be using. Period. Fuck this general. I need this postmaster general to know that there's another postmaster general in his area.
Yeah.
That's all that is. So that's going to circumvent that mail issue. That's why I wasn't even tripping about that. You know what I mean? If this don't go through now, this, that, and that shit don't matter. I can show you a big ass shopping bag full of shit that I sent out. Receipts I got back. I got the receipt from Janet Yellen. I got all that shit, but none of it means anything if I'm not continuously activating and getting motherfuckers' asses. But that's all I'm gonna be doing is showing the Most High stakes through mine. That's all I'm doing. So my intention's never, you know what I mean, harmful. It's always humble. You know what I mean? Because all we do is requests and inquiries. That's all we can do. I make a request, you make an inquiry, I respond. That's it. Because it's all about the 3 C's: cooperation, compliance, and communication. And we can get all that. And then right now, the Department of Revenue is not in compliance. And this information is known, because if it wasn't, the status wasn't respected, then I would have never got through K&G's, buying clothes over there, through Publix, supermarket, and all those or whatever accounts that he created. So now he's just trying to develop a faster, more streamlined way to access all vendors, starting at the IRS. Boom, I send it to the IRS. Everything trickles down to them, and let them handle it that way. Because when the IRS initiates everything, they're going to get everything done accordingly. You know what I mean? Now you don't got to go back to the state. You don't got to holler at the Secretary of State to punish the commissioner or fire him. No, the IRS is going to get the job done because they have access to those doors. You know what I mean? You just need your access. That's all. Man, this, and he's developing this now. But he had to go through what he had to go, even though he's an ambassador and he walks in the Most High and all that, but he still got to continue to surrender it. He still has to.
Yeah, it's daily, man.
It's never ended. So he had to go through what he had to go through in that household for him to determine that he has to leave. And it broke his heart to leave that 2-year-old. It used to be me and him conversating, my 2-year-old right here, his 2-year-old right there. You know what I'm saying? That shit hurts. That shit blowing his mind physically, but he's got, he's surrendering consistently. So which is the Most High is going to give him the strength to get through all of that, because this is what you need to do to get what I need done.
Right.
What he needs done is the will of the Most High. So you got to handle that. You got to handle that, especially if you surrendered already and you continue to surrender. You got to handle that. So I ain't tripping about nothing that these people ain't going to do or adhere to, or none of that.
Right.
I'm focusing on knowing and understanding. So even when I'm speaking to these motherfuckers, I can pull it right out. What? Well, according to this, you're not under this. All right, give me your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Let me get your information.
Yeah.
I've displayed my information, but I have to have that status in play. But I ain't gonna be coming crazy to people. But if the minute they don't adhere to, if the general of the fucking military saluted me already, who the fuck are you to deny me when I say it's an emergency and you under the nigga that recognized me?
Ain't that right? Ain't that right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I'm really doing is showing you who the Most High is.
Right.
And it's beyond all of y'all. It's beyond all y'all.
Yep.
The governor, the Secretary of State, but I still have to express to them.
Right.
That's all. Now look. Okay, we did the envelopes, right? Check out the black and white copy.
Yeah. So I was looking at that. So I can see there's differences. So it's the authority and the signature. All right. So let me see what the black and white one. Okay. So you remove the type of benefit you want to withdraw from.
Yep. You know where I got that from? How I created this form? You at your computer?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, pull up this form right here. Social Security, SSA form 521. Got it?
All right, hold on. Oh, damn, that's not the one I want. I want the one from Social Security, not that one. All right, hold on.
It's a request for withdrawal of application.
All right. That's still not the form. What else is the form? I'm trying to get the form. I'm getting everything but Social Security, but Social Security has.
Just put SSA-521 form.
Yeah, that's what I put.
Oh wow.
SSA form 521.
Yeah.
All right.
So you should see a request for withdrawal of application.
All right. Okay.
You see it?
Yep.
First thing is asked you is the name of wage earner, self-employed individual, or eligible entity, Social Security number, right? If different, print your name, your Social Security number, type of benefit you want to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then it says, I hereby withdraw my application stated above and reasons stated below, blah, 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 right? And they give the reasons, right?
Right.
And then there's signature.
Right.
And
that's simple.
And you see where it says, I declare under penalty of perjury, I have examined the information on this form, and in the company, I copied and pasted that whole part in there.
Right.
That's what you're reading at the bottom of mine. The same exact thing.
Okay.
Now, let's go to form 56. Right? You with me?
I'm coming. Okay.
What form 56 say? Notice concerning fiduciary relationship, right?
Yep.
We got part 1 is identification.
Yep.
Section A is authority. Section B is nature of taxes, blah, 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 revocation or termination of notice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You either revoke it or you terminate, right?
Right. Right.
Then you got court
Administrative
proceed, but you got signature.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I took these 2 forms and created that withdrawal certificate.
And
so at the very top, my state, right?
mm-hmm.
My state, by His Excellency John Kelly, which is the ambassador,
right.
notice of withdrawal.
Right.
Part 1, identification and renounce.
Right.
Right?
Right.
All the pertinent information, Jersey birth certificate number, decedent social security number,
right.
New Jersey driver's license number,
right.
U.S. passport number.
Right.
So I'm with Johnson from all of those right there in one shot. Boom.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Number 2 is, where do I get the authority from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Declaration of Independence of 1766.
Right.
Right? We know what that said, right?
Yep.
The people have the right
to abolish and alter.
Okay, boom. Now I went to the United States Constitution, Article 4.
Secure
Article 4
person.
says the people have a right to be secure in their person.
Yep.
Okay. And what's the last authority that I got it from? New Jersey Constitution. 1844, Article 1, Section 6.
Okay.
You know what that says?
No.
The people have a right to be secure in their person. It's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Part 3 is signature.
Right.
Now, I'm not notarizing this.
Right.
I'm not notarizing this.
Because you're going under the Hague.
You see where the Hague is at?
I see it.
Okay.
I see
and
it.
then the very bottom line is the signature by, and it says ambassador under there.
Right.
Put an email.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm gonna stamp that. That don't even get a gold seal. You don't put a gold seal on that one because that's not a security.
Right.
You only putting that gold coin on that money.
On the money. Exactly.
But I'm just gonna emboss this piece of paper. I'm gonna make 2 copies.
Right.
I make 3 copies actually, like 3 or 4.
Right.
But once I make the 2 copies, I'm gonna take 2 copies to Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all take this, and you stamp my copy that you received it. Okay, you don't want to, or you can't do that. Okay, say no more. I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna mail it.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
Simple. And then the Secretary of State gets a copy.
Right.
Now, once the Secretary of State gets a copy, right, and I know that it's received, then I'm going to contact the IRS to declare the report of death.
Right.
His name, John Kelly Aurora. What's his birth date? 12/27/1978.
Right.
What's his death date? 12/27/1978.
Yep.
Same
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
Right? I need to stay in compliance. Okay, I need an EIN number for the estate.
Yep.
Okay, what's the address? And I'm going to go through outer Mining Islands, or I'm going to go to American territories. Whichever one works, whatever I end up creating, then that's going to be that, but it's still going to be using the 998 situation. I'm going to get that done. Now I got the EIN number.
Right.
I got the EIN number. Now I can create the certificate of trust because the EIN number has to go on there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now I'm going to be bringing out the gold seal because the financial instruments have to be in place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Once I got the EIN number, I give the world notice. I get the apostle seal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, go from there. You know what I mean? But this is what has to be done.
Right. Going in bit by bit.
Yeah, but he showed me those forms for a reason.
Right.
Okay, just like he showed me the deed poll.
Right.
So I'm gonna construct, and I've seen his certificate of trust.
Okay.
It's no more than 2 lines.
Right.
No bullshit.
Right.
They got his seal, like you see mine at the top, and all of that, right? Under that it says certificate of trust, big as hell up there, right? Then all it says is the executor of such and such estate bequeath the office of executor to such and such, and in that capacity and duty, he will effectuate this office with the utmost, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to say it.
Right.
Sign. That's it.
Right.
Then he showed me another joint by screenshot. It's called a certificate of appointment, right?
Okay.
Under authority vested in the undersigned and in conformance with subpart 1.6 of the Federal Acquisition Regulation. It says is appointed contracting officer for the United States of America.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, all I'm doing is appointed John Kelly, ambassador, for the John Kelly LaRoy estate.
Right.
Boom, I got a certificate of appointment now.
Right.
Seal and everything on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we just taking what they're showing us, that how they do it, and we understand the system that they use to read what they're expressing. We're just expressing it back, but from our own state, our own country.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anytime you deal with in diplomatic relations and countries and stuff like that, you know what I mean, there's a protocol for it, and Georgia's going to know that protocol from that commissioner from here on out.
Right.
No one in Georgia is ever going to have an issue once he do what he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
No one that come behind him is going to have that issue. And I think that's what the Most High set out for him to do.
Right.
Because you got to remember, he only gives us his experience. He's not telling us what to do.
Right.
He's telling us, he's expressing what he did, why he did it,
right,
and how it affected him and how it consistently affected him. And the most important thing for him is constantly surrendering. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're still gonna have to make the hard choices. It's not gonna be, you just got this, blanket bond, this unlimited access. You could just be out here buying 17 Lamborghinis and doing this and doing that. Nah, there comes a humbleness and a remembrance of the Most High, because if that's not what you're meant to do, then you ain't gonna get those 17 Lamborghinis. Whether you got a blanket bond from here to Kalamazoo.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what you thought. Yeah, you're gonna get what you deserve, but what you deserve is based off your commitment to the Most High and constantly elevating your consciousness. See, he's given us mad different consciousness: state consciousness, federal consciousness, international consciousness, and universal consciousness. And he's just bringing it all down. And you can identify with it, I can identify with it, but at the same time, we have to continuously live on to take on those consciousnesses. I'm trying to stay at the universal conscious and bring it back down. You know what I'm saying?
So in that, I'm gonna give you a perfect example that there are those who honor me with their lips, but their heart far from me, meaning they know stuff, but they're not there. And the other piece is, if he can't trust you with 50 cents, he ain't gonna give you. If he can't trust you with 50 cents, he's not giving you 50 billion.
Right.
It says he'll give you delight yourself in him, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. So in that delighting, what happens? While you're delighting yourself in him, your heart is going to change.
I did. I put one there. I came back and smoked. I'm listening, bro.
Yeah. So your heart's going to change. Why? Because you're delighting yourself in him.
There you go.
Your desires are not going to be the same.
Absolutely not.
And I'm looking forward to the point of being able to help get our people free.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing's going to be like major. Like, I got some people, right, who are up in North Carolina, and basically they're attempting to do some things, and basically they're struggling attempting to do it, like trying to come together as a community serving the Most High. So I told them, I said, listen, once we get this all figured out, we coming up there to help y'all, to get free, His brother's already given so much of himself, you know, trying to help people. So, but, you know, it's going to be a beautiful thing, man. We just have to sit tight. Like you said, be diligent. And like I've been reading and going back and forth and working and putting stuff together, you know, trying to make sure that I got all this stuff together before I even go back and say anything. Like, I wasn't really sure about those joints that you were telling me about.
What?
The Omnis terroristic act.
And yeah.
Right.
You wasn't so sure about it?
Right. It wasn't clear on. I don't think we were clear on the name of it, but I ended up finding it. I found that.
Clarify that name? Oh, definitely, because he keeps saying ombudsman.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I said omnibus. I looked it up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I found it ASAP.
Okay. Well, I eventually found it.
Yeah.
So, but that and the Trade Act. So, you know, we good. And
You read them too?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you get out of them? Can you see where?
Let me hold on. Because I'm interrupting my wife.
Yeah, I just came upstairs. I was interrupting Mom.
Yeah. So basically.
So do you see how that relates to the abolishment?
That I didn't.
Because those are the only two laws that you're going to put on there for you alter. I'm sorry.
For altering.
When you alter.
Right.
I'm sorry. Those are the two for altering. So
right.
The two for altering is the Omnibus Anti-Terrorism Act and the Trade Facilitation and Trade Enforcement Act. The two to use if you want to abolish is the UPU Constitution and the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations.
Okay. So.
You know what I'm saying? But when you alter, you just become a foreign national. But when you abolish, you take on it.
Oh man, that was not good. Where's my? Where the hell is my?
I haven't made it through both of those documents in all honesty, so I can't grasp where in there it would dictate the alter. You know what I mean?
And that's what I was going through, and I was asking the wrong questions. Excuse me, I was asking the wrong questions.
Well, now that you've read it, you have different questions?
Well, no, because I was just trying to find out, like, how does this fit into altering, right? Because it's talking about like set penalties for conspiring to kill, kidnap, maim people, right? But what I did see was a U.S. national was or would have been on board the aircraft, provided that if the victim of a specified offense is an internationally protected person outside the United States, which brought me to, because we were talking about this before, internationally protected person.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Midwest.
Well, and Midwest got that from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that we were working on way before Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay. 18 USC 112, right? Mm-hmm. Which I was looking at putting in there because it talks about protection of foreign officials, official guests, and internationally protected persons. Mm-hmm. Because that would also line up with the Vienna Convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's the state version of that's the federal version of the
International.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Title 22 of the United States Code is in there too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and I was still looking at how this comes in, but what I came up and what I saw was allows the Attorney General, and in some cases an employee or an official of the Department of Justice or any bureau or agency thereof, to authorize an application to a federal court of competent jurisdiction for and allow a judge of such court to grant an order authorizing disclosure of information contained in an alien's application for adjustment of status or identification of an alien believed to have been killed or severely incapacitated. What do you think about that? Because I'm looking at that from that perspective.
That's the estate.
Exactly.
That's how you altering the estate.
Exactly.
You're altering the information.
Exactly. Because I'm looking at that from that perspective that, you were talking about, we have an emergency, right? And we're attempting to get the stuff that we need, right? Services rendered, right? Food, clothing, and shelter. Okay? So I'm looking at that. Boom. So I saw that. And that's all the notes that I saw. And there might probably be more in there. I would have to probably go through it and read it again. But once again, a new understanding, of going in and looking at not how I want them to see me, but how do they see us? You know what I'm saying? How do they view us? They view us as the estate, and we're not the estate.
Exactly. So now you're seeing, all you're doing is raising your level of consciousness about what and who we are in their eyes. That's all that's doing.
Yep, exactly.
That's all he wanted. Yep. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. Getting back to his image.
That's right.
Not to the image, because if you go into Daniel chapter 1, verse 1 through, I think it's like 20-something verses, it talks about how they transformed the children of Israel into freaking the Chaldeans. They did it by taking their land, their labels, their laws. They changed their name.
Titles and mobility.
Yeah. All of that, bro. All of that. So that makes sense. That makes sense. So I know I'm waiting on this stuff to come in the mail. It should be here next week. But I'm diligently working, right? So I got to finish up this Declaration of Independence, and I'm still like
that's never going to be finished.
Well, I mean, I want
just to be clear, it just needs to have enough information,
right,
of your consciousness now,
right?
Because as time goes on and as you it's going to be amended, but the purpose of it is to feed it to the offspring and the heirs of the estate. It's not for you.
Right.
It's you to know what you need to know, but you need to express it so they can see it and know it. Right. So that's why it's always going to be amended. So finishing that is pointless. You know what I mean? You're never going to finish that. That's not a thing to finish.
Right. Right. And what I'm saying is that I have enough in there. You know what I mean? So that in the event something happens, they, here, this is the important folder. Right. This is where all the important stuff is, and this is what you need to know. And so once we get that, once we understand that, we're good, or you should be good, right? And then more so the will, right, and testament, because that outlines everything right there. Right, get that done. Bam. You'll know what's ours. Here it is. Boom. And then do your deed poll. Your trust certificate.
Well,
Get your accession, right? Like what I'm looking at, I'm probably going to have to do 3, right? Because I got 3 names. So I got 2 Social Securities, 2 driver's license. So I'm going to do 1 for each of those. Get them done. Have the dependents in the state. Have the Hill estate.
you put all that in one document, though. Because if the name is the same, it's still under. All you're doing is putting that on. So when you're withdrawn, you will put both socials and the way both names are spelled.
Well, I always kept them separate. I always kept them separate. I wanted to keep them separate for a purpose.
To you, it's separate, but in the system, it's not separate. If that other social is attached to that birth certificate, then it's under the same thing.
It can't be, because if it was, then Social Security would have said that there's you have another account.
Okay.
The other account, they won't allow me to get Social Security.
Okay.
So I got to wait till I'm 67. But the other account, I'm getting Social Security now. So, I'll work it out, man. It's just going to take some time. And if we're sending this UPU, what the hell? It ain't costing me nothing to mail it.
Exactly.
So I'll send them out separate. It's good. So,
Right.
yeah. All right, brother. Well, I'm going to go. I've been working all day trying to get this stuff together. And I'm back in the bedroom. I'll holler at you later, bro. Peace.
All right.
Something brown, 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 something brown.